All right, I'm just gonna dive straight into it. This video is about how to avoid lifestyle creep slash inflation. So what exactly is lifestyle creep, lifestyle inflation? Well, let me tell you. So lifestyle creep inflation is when your spending increases as your income increases, leading to just having more monthly expenses and potentially hindering your financial goals. So for example, you get that raise that you've always wanted to, and you're like, in your head you're like, if I just made this much more money I could save more. But then you, for example, decide to treat yourself to getting your nails done because why not? You deserve it, you earned that money. You start to feel like you need to upkeep your nails, and so what started out as a treat, you've included it in your expenses and you're paying for it bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it is, therefore leading to your monthly expenses increasing as opposed to just a one-time treat kind of thing. That's a more like simplified version of it. Other versions are buying a new car. It's increased your monthly income, therefore possibly completely canceling out the raise that you got and leaving you basically in the same position you were before you got that raise. What do I know about lifestyle creep? Well, I have experienced it myself. I've done it. If you're Googling this, watching this, and you're trying to avoid it, go on mute. If you're watching this trying to set yourself back, trying to get control of your budget, perfect. This video is for you as well. If you want to watch my financially independent secure series, I honestly always forget what I've named it. I'm gonna link it up here below, but you can kind of watch all my videos where I talk about paying off my debt. If you even want to watch further, you can look at my older videos before I started that series, and I've definitely let my lifestyle creep, but I think I have done a good job at stopping it in its track and catching myself before I've let it get out of hand. So some tips that I have done myself to avoid lifestyle creep are budgeting and tracking everything. Some will claim, you know, you don't need a budget, and I feel like the people that say that are the ones that make way more money than they know what to really do with. And so I personally don't agree with that. If you've gotten yourself into debt and you're not building yourself up from like neutral standing point where you're like no debt, no nothing, if you're below that, you have that debt and you're trying to get yourself out of it, you really want to avoid the lifestyle creep inflation by making sure you have a budget and you are aware of every single dollar and where it's going. I've only recently just learned this. Not learned, I knew about it, but I've only recently started implementing it a bit more seriously, and that is paying yourself first. So every paycheck that you get, you want to pay yourself your savings, emergency fund, whatever, first, and then allocate the funds in other categories. Sometimes, for example, when let's say I got sick or didn't work as much in a paycheck period, blah, blah, blah. What I would do is I would always calculate like between 10 to 20% of my pay. It would be a little bit more, some paychecks a little bit less depending, right? And then I would set that aside in my emergency fund, line of credit, pay off debt area on my you need a budget, which is what I use to budget. Set aside that money as my savings, do my funds. If there is an area that I needed to move my money around, which YNAB, you need a budget, is really good about, you're able to kind of move things around, then I would take the amount that I set aside for my savings, emergency fund, line of credit, debt repayment, and then I would adjust my stuff around. So that's what I meant between like 10 to 20% of my paycheck. Sometimes it's even 50%. It really just depends on the time of the month that I get my pay kind of thing. Setting that aside first lets me just assume that the leftover money is all I have to pay for my expenses. And then if there is a case of it not being enough money, then I can kind of dip back into that emergency fund and allocate it properly. But again, this works for me for the most part. Very rarely have to go back into my emergency fund and redistribute it. It's only when there's unexpected costs, like this past December where I had to pay an extra $600. If you want to go watch what I spent for December of 2023 and Christmas, you can go ahead and watch that. Next would be living below your means. So this is a hard one because, for example, if you got a raise, I mean, I feel like the whole point in making more money is so that you can improve your life in the way that you want it to look like and feel like. But obviously there comes like a level that you can't, an invisible level that you can't pass. Otherwise you're back to where you were square one. Living below your means, as another example, before I started making all this money, that lifestyle, of course, there's going to be a natural lifestyle creep because the whole point of me me going to school was so that I didn't have to live the life that I was living before, which was not being able to afford anything and going into debt. So obviously there would be a natural lifestyle creep that way. Where I started really noticing it creeping up was when I started to get my nails done monthly or bi-weekly and getting hair extensions. That kind of stuff gets addicting. I was also getting lash lifts too, but I've managed to stop that. I've stopped getting my nails done. I will one day get back into it when I have the money or when I feel like I have the time for it and stuff like that. I am trying to learn how to do it myself, but I stupidly messed up my own nails. That's another story. So I'm just waiting for them to like kind of grow back healthy. Right now, to save money, I'm just doing at-home treatments, and very rarely. I've decided to also just spend less money on my hair. I still have hair extensions because, if you don't know, I had weight loss surgery and it made my hair fall out like crazy. And so it was like super thin, like super thin, like literally looked like string hanging off my head. I had like no volume, but I've cut back in a sense of not getting my hair highlighted every single time I get my extensions moved up, so that's saved me quite a bit of money doing that way, while also still making me feel like good about myself and treating myself and just getting to use my money for something that isn't like a huge purchase. So you got to live within your means. A good podcast to listen to is Money Feels. It's an episode called, I'm trying to read the title here on my laptop. It's the Attack of the Lifestyle Inflation by Money Feels podcast. Highly recommend it. They really just go into a lot more detail. Like it's such a good podcast. I highly recommend listening to it on your drive to work or from work. But it's something that's really helped me feel better about some of the things that I spend money on, because it gets to a point of you're saving so much of your money, but then it feels like all for nothing some days. And so it's best to give yourself these like little treats sprinkled in throughout your financial journey if you're paying off debt to keep you motivated to keep going. I think setting good, realistic financial goals also helps you avoid lifestyle creep. I think you need to be really clear about what you want in life and how to go about that. If you want to get to your goals while also living this like luxury lifestyle, then maybe you need to be okay with it taking you much longer to pay off your debt. There's always like a balance. If you take more from one side, gotta give it to another side, to another area of your life kind of thing. So if you want that lifestyle, then you either better find a way to make more money but stop your lifestyle creep at where you are at, or make do with what you have. So make more money or make do with what you have. Maybe for you, that next financial goal is what stops you from doing lifestyle creep. It's just like a good little dangling carrot in front of you to stop you from unnecessary spending. Because my hair extensions, I feel it is unnecessary. Getting my nails done was unnecessary. I don't need all these things, but it does make me feel a bit better about myself. I just knew that like I wasn't gonna be living my life or wanting to live my life the way that I was before when I was poor, just to pay off debt, because I think I would have gone insane by now if I didn't use that bit of extra money to buy new clothes or get skin treatments done, that kind of thing. It's just, it is what it is. There's no point in me telling you not to spend money on stuff like that, like some people do, because it's just really not realistic. I also think limiting your social media intake and exposure will help you. The days that, I get up and go for a walk and I'm working and I'm just less on my phone, better I feel and the less I spend money on. When I have my days off and I'm just being like a couch potato or rotting in bed, doom scrolling kind of thing, I'm more likely to spend money during those times. I think trying to avoid like comparison in a sense means staying off social media, because you do get influenced into buying a lot of stuff that you don't need at the moment or you can wait on. Just stop comparing yourself to other people, because it's your own journey. Not everyone lives the same life as you do, and you don't know their journey and how they got there. Just how someone might be watching my videos and be like, oh yeah, it's so easy for her to pay off her debt because she makes so much money, and it's like, well, no, I don't make that much money, but I did stuff in the past to get me to where I'm at today so that it could be easier for me to pay off debt. It's just the path that I chose. So there's no point in comparing where you at in your journey with other people online or in real life. I also think doing regular financial check-ins, so weekly, daily, whatever you need to stop you from purchasing things that are gonna get you into a recurring monthly fee, definitely recommend checking in with your finances and being honest with yourself and checking in before you make these purchases. Don't do it after. I still to this day sometimes do that, where I'll buy something and I'll be like, I know I have the money somewhere in one of my categories on you need a budget. I will figure out later. It's not with big purchases, but it'll be like little Amazon purchases and stuff like that. So that's one area where I still struggle, but it is something that I am aware of that can contribute to my lifestyle creep if I don't take a look at any type of subscription-based stuff. And I mean like cars, electronics, like stuff that you're not going to be paying off right away. It's going to take a while. Nails, skincare, makeup. I really take a look and make sure that I have the money before I do it. You also have to give yourself a break sometimes. Sometimes you make a mistake, just like how I did with upkeeping my nails and hair extensions. While I never went into debt, it definitely, like, it's extra money that I could have used to paying off my debt. And once I was able to break the cycle and like stop caring about how my nails look, it was easier for me to just stop going to the nail salon. On some lifestyle creep situations, it's easy to turn around and change that. I hope some of those tips might help you focus in on what is causing you to have lifestyle creep, maybe motivate you to increase your income if you're not willing to sacrifice the stuff that you are purchasing in your monthly spending now. I hope these tips have helped you, whether deciding on what is causing you to have lifestyle creep, if you need to figure out if you need to make more money to sustain that lifestyle. But all in all, I think if you're watching this video, you are aware of it and that you are on a better path than people that have no idea what they're doing. They just get a raise and they end up spending more money. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to leave that there. See you next time. Bye.